6:15. This is a Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Malarachi and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The GCE ordinary levels question papers are being dispatched to the examination coordinating centers at present. Special bus and train services will be operated from the Poson pilgrims. The price of urea fertilizer will be reduced within the next 2 weeks. A committee has been appointed to explore the potential of marine tourism in Sri Lanka. Veteran diplomat Jayantha Dhanapala passed away at the age of 85. And in news overseas, fresh explosions reported in the Russian-occupied port of Berdyansk. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. Commissioner General of Examinations Amit Jayasundara says that the ordinary level question papers are being dispatched to the examination coordinating centers at present. Special exam centers have been set up for the students with special needs. Students who are suffering from dengue fever can sit for the examinations at the nearest center to their residence. The GCE ordinary level examinations are scheduled to commence on Monday and continue until the 8th of this month at 3,568 centers. There are 394,450 school applicants and 78,103 private applicants sitting for the examination this year. Sri Lanka Transport Board has arranged special bus services to provide relief for the pilgrims who visit Anuradhapura during the post festive season. A special bus will be operated for distance areas to Anuradhapura from the 1st of next month onwards. 400 additional buses will ply to Anuradhapura during the festive season. Buses will also operate between Anuradhapura and Mihintale for every half an hour. Sri Lanka Railways says that special train services will also be operated from the 2nd to the 5th of next month. Meanwhile, the Public Health Inspectors Union says that those who organize dances in view of the Poson Festival should obtain permission from the relevant medical officers of health. Its president, Upul Rohana, said, since there is a risk of the spread of infectious diseases with events like these, the public should inform the relevant MOH and obtain the help of the public health inspectors, especially with the requirements such as chlorinating the water. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera says that the price of urea fertilizer will be reduced within the next 2 weeks. Another shipment of urea will arrive in the country within that period. The minister expressed hope that the government will be able to reduce the prices afterwards. The minister was speaking at a ceremony held in Hambantota yesterday. He added that the possibilities will also be checked to reduce the potash fertilizer as well. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority has appointed a committee to explore the potential of marine tourism as a part of Marine Tourism Master Plan for the year 2024 to be developed with the Asian Development Bank's assistance. SLTDA Chairman Priyantha Fernando says that marine tourism consultant will also be in Colombo next week to provide expertise in this sector. The level of investment needed is difficult to be estimated at the moment, Mr. Fernando said. The last budget had allocated 50 million rupees, which had made it hard to make improvements. However, this year, I believe we will spend between 200 to 250 million on the development process. Sri Lanka's coasts have been very popular tourist attractions, with coral and whale washing being the activities that have generated significant interest among visitors. Former United Nations Under-Secretary General for Disarmament Affairs and former Ambassador of Sri Lanka to the US and to the UN office in Geneva, Jayantha Dhanapala passed away at the age of 85 while receiving treatment at the Kandy National Hospital. Director of the Kandy National Hospital confirmed that the former diplomat has passed away after suffering a heart attack. Mr. Dhanapala has also served as a member of the Constitutional Council of Sri Lanka from the year 2018 to 2020, the 11th president of the Nobel Peace Prize winning Pugash Conferences on Science and World Affairs, and the deputy chairman of the governing body of Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. He has received many international awards and honorary doctorates and has published 5 books and several articles in international journals and lectured widely. The funeral arrangements will be announced later. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The GCE ordinary level question papers are being dispatched to the examination coordinating centres at present. Special bus and train services will be operated for the postponed pilgrims. The price of urea fertilizer will be reduced within the next 2 weeks. A committee has been appointed to explore the potential of marine tourism in Sri Lanka. Veteran diplomat Jayantha Dhanapala passes away at the age of 85. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for this evening, a proposal for the removal of Puttalam District MP Ali Sabri Rahim, who was recently arrested for the possession of undeclared gold and smartphones, was reportedly tabled at the party leaders' meeting recently. The relevant proposal was initially presented by the Tamil National Alliance MP M.A. Sumandiran and was affirmed by the opposition MP Lakshman Kiriyalla, while representatives of the ruling party had also agreed to the proposal. Accordingly, the party leaders agreed that the controversial MP Rahim should be asked to resign from his post by way of a proposal signed by all members of the parliament. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight this evening, President's Secretary Mr. Saman Ekanayaka has instructed the Director General of Customs to take the necessary steps to install high-tech scanning machines at the VIP passenger terminal of the Bandaranaike International Airport at Katunayaka. According to the Sri Lanka customs officials, although there are high-tech scanners in the general passenger terminal of the Katunayaka Airport to check the handbags brought in by air passengers, there is no such facility in the elite passenger terminal. That came to you in Watchlight, and now let's move on to the headlines of the world news. Fresh explosions reported in the Russian-occupied port city of Berdyansk. Sir Richard Branson's rocket plane returns to spaceflight. Passenger arrested for opening the plane door during North Korea flight. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the world news. Explosions were reported close to the Russian-occupied city of Berdyansk in the southern Ukraine today, making the second time in 48 hours the port city was hit. Ukrainian official Viktor Dudukalov, the exiled deputy chairman of the Berdyansk District Council, told the Ukrainian national television that facilities housing Russian soldiers in the villages were hit. The targets were about 50 kilometers to the northeast of the city center. Dudukalov suggested the hits could have been from the Shadow cruise missiles which Britain had given to Ukraine several weeks ago. With the acquisition of those missiles, Kiev's forces were given the ability to strike targets further into the Russian-occupied territory. Sir Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic rocket plane is back in action after a gap of almost 2 years. The Unity vehicle, with 2 pilots and 4 passengers aboard, climbed high over the New Mexico desert to the edge of space before gliding back down as the plane's final test outing before entering the commercial service in June. Galactic was sold over 800 tickets to individuals who want to ride more than 80 kilometers above the Earth. A man has been arrested for opening a door of an Asiana Airlines flight as it was landing in South Korea. All 194 passengers survived the flight, which landed safely but with its doors still open at the Daegu International Airport on Friday. Some passengers fainted, while others had breathing problems and were taken to hospital, local media reported. The man in his 30s said he was feeling suffocated and wanted to get off quickly. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. Fresh explosions reported in the Russian-occupied port city of Berdyansk. Sir Richard Branson's rocket plane returns to space flight. Passenger arrested for opening the plane door during South Korea flight. And that was the world news.
Development news.
In development news, the Education Ministry plans to introduce artificial intelligence to the school curriculum in the year 2024 with an emphasis on robotics, machine learning, data mining, computer vision and related technologies, an official said. National Institute of Education Director General Sunil Jayantha Navaratna told Economy Next that such subjects should be taught to students from grade 6 to 13 depending on their level. Plans are also underway to encourage students to use tools like ChatGPT and Google Bard to enhance their knowledge with respect to other subjects. That was the development news, and now let's move on to sports news. Moose Clothing Company announced a partnership with Sri Lanka Cricket as they sealed the rights as the official cricket clothing sponsor for the period of 2023 to 27. Under the new partnership, Moose will provide official cricket clothing for Sri Lanka's national teams during the upcoming tournaments, covering all formats of the game, including the International Cricket Council and Asian Cricket Council events. Marking the partnership between the two entities, the official ODI jersey for the upcoming Sri Lanka vs Afghanistan men's ODI series was revealed during a special ceremony conducted in Colombo recently. That was the sports news, business news coming up.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account. NSB I am, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
State Minister of Investment Promotion Dilum Amanugama says Sri Lanka received $604 million of foreign investments during the first quarter of this year. He said Sri Lanka has received foreign investments for 30 new projects. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account. NSB I am, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of... For the 5th consecutive year, LOLC is awarded People's Financial Services Brand of the Year at the 2022 Slim Kantar People's Awards. As the People's Financial Services Brand of the Year, LOLC continues to place the customer first. And this has won the hearts, minds and trust of Sri Lankans, with yet another prestigious award as proof of this lasting commitment. LOLC. Imagine the possibilities.
In economic news, the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority anticipates a revenue of $2 billion in the year 2023, with more Chinese tourists expected to arrive in the coming months. The number of Chinese tourists in Sri Lanka is picking up and will increase in the coming months, SLTDA Priyanth Fernando said. This year, Sri Lanka has welcomed 13,771 Chinese tourists so far. Tourists to Sri Lanka this year have primarily comprised of Russians and Indians, with a few visitors from the UK and Australia and other countries making up the rest. That was economic news. The weather report to conclude.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award, whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Weather report.
Finally, the weather report. Several spells of showers will occur in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. A few showers may occur in the central and northwestern provinces as well. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the eastern, Uva and north central provinces during the evening or night. And before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. The GC Ordinary Level Examination question paper being dispatched to the examination coordinating centres at present. Special bus and train services will be operated for the Poson pilgrims. The price of urea fertilizer will be reduced within the next 2 weeks. A committee has been appointed to explore the potential of marine tourism in Sri Lanka. Veteran diplomat Jayantha Dhanapala passed away at the age of 85. And in news overseas, fresh explosions reported in the Russian-occupied port city of Berdyansk. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.